Jedną z rzeczy, które badamy, jest to, dlaczego po prostu sami nie zmutujemy, żebyśmy mogli stworzyć EMP, opracować szczepionki BO. Dokładnie. Więc musimy to zrobić. Jeśli jednak mamy to zrobić, istnieje ryzyko, jak możesz sobie wyobrazić, nikt nie chce, żeby firma farmaceutyczna mutowała wirusa, więc wszystko musi być bardzo kontrolowane.
Jesteśmy gotowi zainwestować, jak wspomniał również prezydent, 70 miliardów dolarów w ciągu najbliższych kilku lat tylko w produkcję i badania w Ameryce ze strony firmy Pfizer. Chcę podziękować panu za przywództwo i, szczerze mówiąc, za przyjaźń.
Dziękuję. Prezydent Stanów Zjednoczonych.
Bardzo szokująca, myślę, że dla wielu osób bardzo smutna informacja, ale bardzo czytelna i jednoznaczna, rytualna wręcz. Otóż zobaczcie, co miało miejsce w Białym Domu.
Chciałbym podziękować sekretarzowi Kennedy'emu. Chciałbym podziękować sekretarzowi Latny. Twoje przywództwo pomogło nam to wszystko zrealizować. Jesteś mózgiem całego przedsięwzięcia. Bez genialnego sposobu, w jaki to wszystko zaprojektowałeś, nie bylibyśmy w stanie tego osiągnąć. Ale byłeś jeszcze bardziej genialny, bo miałeś w swoim zespole kogoś, kto był siłą napędową wszystkiego i brakuje mi słów, by ci podziękować. Dziękuję za twoją uczciwość, bo tak jak powiedziałeś, od pierwszego dnia zbudowaliśmy zaufanie i to było najważniejsze, co pozwoliło nam przeprowadzić bardzo trudne negocjacje. Naprawdę uważam, że to historyczny moment, ponieważ mogę to już zostawić za sobą i skupić się na rzeczach, na które chcę poświęcać swój czas. Leczenie nowotworów, wprowadzenie lepszych leków na otyłość, opracowanie skuteczniejszych szczepionek, dostarczanie rzeczy, które są dla ludzi wartościowe. I dziękuję, że umożliwiacie nam to wszystko.
Jestem ciekaw, gdzie są inne firmy oprócz Pfizera? Czy spodziewasz się, że pojawią się później?
Wszyscy są ze mną. Wszyscy są z nami. I miałem zaszczyt, że Albert był pierwszy. Wykonał fantastyczną pracę. Jak wiesz, przy COVID-zie. Zrobił świetną robotę w wielu sprawach. Jest liderem, a Pfizer jest na samym szczycie. Wiesz, to tam jest. Eli Lilly również jest fantastyczny, twój przyjacielu, mój przyjacielu. I wszystkie one nadejdą w ciągu najbliższego tygodnia. Zawieramy umowy ze wszystkimi, a ja... Nie mogli przetestować. Niech Bóg cię błogosławi, Bobby. Mam nadzieję, że nie zaraziłem się tam COVID-em. Nie masz Paxlovidu? Co to jest?
Ja też to mam.
Ma Paxlovid. Daj mi natychmiast Paxlovid.
Tak.
Chcą wszystkiego, każdej działki ziemi, każdego zbiornika wodnego, każdego ludzkiego ciała, każdego zasobu naturalnego. Wszystko ma być zliczone i wciągnięte do globalnego systemu, który kontrolują. Nie mamy nic, nie posiadamy niczego i jesteśmy szczęśliwi, mówi Klaus Schwab. Cóż, Trump ma rację we wszystkim i po prostu nie mogę uwierzyć, że ludzie tego nie widzą. Zdrada jest tuż przed naszymi oczami, to absolutnie oszałamiające. Czuję się jak ta dziewczyna, czuję się jakbym znów była na studiach i to jest, wiesz, próbuję doradzić mojej przyjaciółce, która jest w związku z nieudacznikiem, agresywnym przegrywem, który ją okłamuje, zdradza, regularnie nią manipuluje, a ona zawsze myśli, że on się zmieni i po prostu do niego wraca. Związek w kółko i w kółko. A ja mówię, dziewczyno, musisz się z tego wyciągnąć. Prawda? To tak, jakby cała część tego kraju była uwięziona w masowej formacji kultu wokół Donalda Trumpa, który jest wyraźnym i oczywistym drapieżnikiem. Zawsze był kłamcą, oszustem, zdrajcą, drapieżnikiem. On śmieje się z ciebie, weźmie co może, skłamie ci prosto w twarz, nawet go to nie rusza, a jednak tak wielu ludzi nadal jest sztandarowymi zwolennikami tego tyrana. I dlatego robi to z Albertem Burlą. Ludzie mówią, och, no wiesz, on próbuje to ukryć. Nie, to jest jawne, to jest prosto w twarz. On poddaje cię rytuałowi upokorzenia. To jest taktyka kontroli, technika kontroli. Chce, żebyś to przełknął. On chce, żebyś wiedział, że ma pełną kontrolę i mógłby cię zastrzelić na 5. Alei, a ty i tak byś na niego zagłosował. To jest poziom kontroli, jaki ci narcystyczni, złośliwi, socjopaci chcą mieć. I tak wielu z nich jest na stanowiskach władzy. Czy Trump rządzi wszystkim? Nie. Wiemy, że za każdym prezydentem w tych zachodnich demokracjach stoją mroczne kabały. Wiemy, że Trump nie jest szefem, ale z tą władzą, którą ma, będzie ci to codziennie wciskał w twarz. I to właśnie zrobił wczoraj z Albertem Burlą. To właśnie zrobił, ogłaszając bezczelnie, prosto w twarz, manipulację rynkiem za pieniądze, kumoterski kapitalizm, prawa do nazwy dla Trump RX we współpracy z farmaceutyką. On się z ciebie naśmiewa. Nie mogę uwierzyć, że ktokolwiek z jakimkolwiek poczuciem godności po prawej stronie, jako konserwatysta, chrześcijanin czy nawet maga, mógłby dać się na to nabrać. Powinieneś się wstydzić. Oburzające. Amacha jest oficjalnie martwa.
Jak się teraz czują ludzie? To pisze jeden z zwykłych ludzi na Twitterze. Jest tutaj na zdjęciu na dole po lewej stronie. Pfizer zamordował moją 18-letnią córkę. Partia mRNA FN2908 9 listopada 2022 roku. Prezydent właśnie przyznał Pfizer kontrakt o wartości 70 miliardów zamordować więcej ludzi. To nie tam, że przyznał, ale zrobili taki deal. Mężczyzna stojący dziś obok niego uścisnął mi dłoń i obiecał, że zapłaci im niecały rok temu. Mowa o Kennedym, z którym ten mężczyzna się spotkał i któremu Kennedy obiecał, że się rozliczy z nimi. Otóż ja próbuję zapłacić za jej pogrzeb. Nie potrzebuję 70 miliardów, potrzebuję tylko około $4000, aby mogła mieć cholerny nagrobek. Zamordowali ją, a teraz są liderami i wielkimi ludźmi. Pieprzę cię, gaslighting jest zbyt duży. Kurwa, nie mogę tego dłużej znieść. Tak się właśnie czują teraz ludzie, którzy zostali po prostu oszukani. Inny news. Pfizer zawiera umowę z USA o wartości 70 miliardów dolarów na rozbudowę swojego imperium mRNA i obniżenie cen leków. Przełomowe porozumienie pozwala firmie Pfizer rozszerzać swoją katastrofalną platformę mRNA, zamiatając pod dywan ogromną liczbę zgonów i zniszczeń. W ciągu pierwszych 90 dni od wprowadzenia leku, tutaj BNT, firma Pfizer odnotowała 1223 zgony i przez lata współpracowała z FDA, aby ukryć je przed opinią publiczną. Czy spodziewaliśmy się czegoś innego? Więc ja to nagranie jeszcze za chwilę puszczę, jakbyście chcieli przyjrzeć się wyrazom twarzy, bo na pewno nie dowierzacie, że Robert F. Kennedy, czyli aktywista w dużym stopniu przeciwko szczepionkowy, stoi razem z Trumpem i dobija dealu z Pfizerem. Dealu, o którego rozciągłości chwilę wam powiem. Otóż wygląda na to, że 70 miliardów dolarów wystarczyło, żeby zawrzeć ugodę korporacji farmaceutycznych i ich właścicieli z rządem Donalda Trumpa, że nie będą ich po prostu ścigać, co więcej, pozwolą im na dalszą ekspansję i rozwój platformy mRNA w nowej wersji, która będzie dostarczała leków na raka i otyłość. Takie przekupstwo, kupczenie wpływów politycznych byłoby ordynarną zdradą, jest zdradą dla całego ruchu patriotów, tak zwany MAGA, który już chyba najadł się troszeczkę dziegdziu, widząc jak pod całkowitą kontrolą Benjamina Uja jest Donald Trump i IPAC-u, czyli lobby żydowskiego, ale są tam jeszcze dwa ordynarne przestępstwa, które zostały tam dokonane. Największym przekrętem jest to, że Donald Trump ma osobiste korzyści wynikające z tego dealu, mogące sięgać około 500 milionów dolarów rocznie. Wyciągnęła to Sasha Latypowa, bardzo mądra kobieta, która świetną robotę robiła podczas Srowidu. Sasha Latypowa, znajdźcie sobie, udostępniałem czasami jej nagrania. Ona mówiła między innymi o tym, że to wszystko było operacją wojskową. Ona doszukała się tego aspektu, w którym Trump będzie miał opłaty licencyjne z platformy internetowej, na której będzie można kupować leki bezpośrednio od Pfizera. Platforma ta nazywa się Trump RX. Czyli Trump uruchomił platformę dostępu do leków poza siecią aptekarską, bezpośrednio od Pfizera, sygnowaną swoim imieniem, tak jak sygnuje hotele, pola golfowe, alkohole i normalnie ma się z takich deali tam od 2 do 4% obrotów za to, że ktoś używa twojej marki. I tutaj się szacuje, że wpływy osobiste Donalda Trumpa mogą sięgać właśnie około 500 milionów rocznie. Jest to rewolucja na rynku farmaceutycznym. To jest bardzo gruba sprawa. Drugie przestępstwo, które tam ma miejsce, to jest reklama produktów farmaceutycznych. W nagraniu, które jeszcze raz zobaczycie na końcu, Donald Trump wykonuje reklamę produktu firmy Pfizer. Wiecie, jak to jest, kiedy prezydent wyciąga jabłko danej firmy albo telefon, to jest po prostu reklama i prezydent nie może robić takich rzeczy, natomiast prezydent Donald Trump zareklamował właśnie produkty firm, z którymi robił deal. I ja wiem, że przestępczość już nie jest czymś niedopuszczalnym, że obecnie jesteśmy w takim stanie świata, w którym osoby na świeczniku robią absolutnie wszystko, nie przejmują się konwencjami, kartami praw człowieka i tak dalej, Gaza, tak? I to, co robią, nie ma nic wspólnego z prawem czy porządkiem. Dlatego takie skoki na kasę, które robi Donald Trump w stylu ukraińskiej oligarchii, która jest zblatowana z aparatem państwowym, zaczynają być po prostu standardem. Robert Kennedy nie śmieje się w pierwszych minutach tego nagrania. Wygląda troszeczkę, jakby go wsadził ktoś w niezłą kupę. No bo jednak 20 lat kariery poszło psów w budę, tak? Budowania swojego wizerunku jako sceptyka szczepionkowego, który jeszcze tydzień temu na konferencjach wygłaszał, jak to ołów i aluminium powoduje autyzm u dzieci. Wypowiadał się lata temu, że Pfizer jest to firma absolutnie przestępcza, natomiast w tej chwili musi legitymizować deal z tą spółką. Tutaj ktoś zachował tweeta, w którym właśnie Robert F. Kennedy mówi, że jest to ludobójcza, zbankrutowana moralnie kryminalna firma, która przejęła regulatorów. No i się okazuje, że tutaj kilka miliardów i człowiek może zacząć nowe życie, nową karierę. A tu jeszcze o Pfizerze kawałek. Proszę was o...
Pfizer ostatecznie rozważa mutację wirusa COVID.
Cóż, nie to mówimy opinii publicznej. Nie. Nie mów tego nikomu. Nie masz możliwości opublikowania. Badamy, nie wiesz, jak wirus ciągle mutuje? Tak. Jedną z rzeczy, które badamy, jest to, dlaczego po prostu sami nie zmutujemy, żebyśmy mogli stworzyć EMP, opracować szczepionki BO. Dokładnie. Więc musimy to zrobić. Jeśli jednak mamy to zrobić, istnieje ryzyko, jak możesz sobie wyobrazić, nikt nie chce, żeby firma farmaceutyczna mutowała wirusa, więc wszystko musi być bardzo kontrolowane, żeby ten zmutowany wirus nie zrobił czegoś szalonego, wiesz, nie rozprzestrzenił się wszędzie, coś w tym stylu. Ale szczerze mówiąc, to w ten sposób wirus zaczął się rozprzestrzeniać. To nie ma sensu, jeśli ten wirus pojawiłby się znikąd.
Tak, wiem. Poznajcie Jordana Tristana Walkera, dyrektora Badań i Rozwoju, Operacji Strategicznych oraz Planowania Naukowego mRNA w firmie Pfizer.
Brzmi to dla mnie jak zyskiwanie funkcji.
Nie wiem, to trochę co innego. Myślę, że to jest coś innego. To znaczy, to zdecydowanie nie jest zyskiwanie funkcji przy...
Brzmi było. To znaczy w porządku.
Nie. Ewolucja kierunkowa to coś zupełnie innego. Nie powinieneś prowadzić badań nad funkcjami zysku wirusów, jak w przypadku REC, ale powinieneś badać te wybrane mutacje kierunkowe, aby sprawdzić, czy będą bardziej podatne.
Tak.
Są na ten temat badania na GIEL. Nie wiem, jak to ma działać. Nie będzie już więcej takich epidemii, jak ta za czasów Jezusa Chrystusa.
Ten dżentelmen wydaje się być pozbawiony wszelkiego moralnego kompasu.
Otwieram drzwi wszystkim urzędnikom rządowym. To całkiem dobre dla branży, szczerze mówiąc. Tak, to jest złe dla wszystkich innych w Ameryce. Dlaczego to jest złe dla wszystkich innych? Bo jeśli regulatorzy, którzy zatwierdzają nasze leki, wiedzą, że kiedy przestaną być regulatorami, będą chcieli pracować dla firmy, to nie będą tak surowi wobec nas wszystkich.
Jeśli to jest jakość osób w Pfizerze, które podejmują te ogromne decyzje zagrażające globalnemu zdrowiu publicznemu, to jest to głęboko skorumpowane.
Co Pfizer dokładnie robi, żeby zoptymalizować, wiesz, te szczepionki, które są teraz dostępne?
Dzisiaj się tym wszystkim zajmujemy. Naprawdę robimy bardzo dużo. Nie wiem, czy powinienem to mówić.
Nasz dziennikarz pod przykrywką zapytał Walkera, jak Pfizer radzi sobie z faktem, że ich szczepionki na COVID są nieskuteczne wobec wariantów wirusa. To, co powiedział, jest niepokojące. Posłuchaj tego.
Badamy, jak wirus ciągle mutuje. Tak. Jedną z rzeczy, które badamy, jest to, dlaczego nie zmutować się, tworzyć impulsy emocjonalne i opracowywać nowe szczepionki. Jeśli jednak zdecydujemy się na taki krok, istnieje ryzyko, że, jak można sobie wyobrazić, nikt nie będzie chciał, aby firma farmaceutyczna mutowała wirusy.
Tak.
Czy chcemy to zrobić? To jest więc jedna z rzeczy, które rozważamy.
Chciałbym podziękować sekretarzowi Latny. Twoje przywództwo pomogło nam to wszystko zrealizować. Jesteś mózgiem całego przedsięwzięcia. Bez genialnego sposobu, w jaki to wszystko zaprojektowałeś, nie bylibyśmy w stanie tego osiągnąć.
Widzicie, oni się tutaj nie kryją. To jest bardzo głębokie. Pauzujcie sobie. To jest rytualne i symboliczne. Oni mówią tutaj plain language. Oni mówią wprost, że był ktoś, kto wyreżyserował coś, co pomogło im osiągnąć to, co mają teraz. Czyli monopol, bezkarność i dalszy business as usual. I jak to zostało zaprojektowane? No, zostało to zaprojektowane, wygląda na to w ten sposób, że ktoś musiał zdobyć społeczne zaufanie, żeby to przeprowadzić.
Chciałbym podziękować sekretarzowi uczciwość, bo tak jak byłeś jeszcze bardziej genialny, bo miałeś w swoim zespole kogoś, kto był siłą na pewno.
Czy on tutaj się już nie śmieje? Czy tutaj się nie robi zbyt wesoło na tej scence rodzinnej?
Wszystkiego i brakuje mi słów, by ci podziękować. Dziękuję za twoją uczciwość, bo tak jak powiedziałeś, od pierwszego dnia zbudowaliśmy zaufanie i to było najważniejsze, co pozwoliło nam przeprowadzić bardzo trudne negocjacje.
O jakim zaufaniu on mówi? Kto je zbudował? Między nimi, czy może zaufanie społeczeństwa do tych
Oczywiście
osób?
chcę też podziękować przedstawicielowi handlowemu.
Także no, mnie to nie zaskakuje, ale rozumiem, że dla wielu sympatyków i zwolenników Trumpa może być ciężko jakoś to opakować, żeby przedstawić, że są to szachy 7D. Na ten moment tego przepakować się nie da. Zastanawiam się tylko, czemu akurat dzisiaj pozwolili sobie na taki rytuał upokorzenia, ugięcia się, zwłaszcza postaci, jaką jest Robert F. Kennedy. Dlaczego go stracili, można powiedzieć, na tej scenie? No cóż, myślę, że szybko chcieli się uwinąć z tym tematem, żeby wrócić do biznesu, bo zaczną się dziać rzeczy znacznie ciekawsze, ważniejsze, po których już nie będzie czasu na takie pogodne konferencyjki.
It is so good to be with all of you today. It is Wednesday, the epicenter of yet another very busy broadcast week. Huge betrayal yesterday. We knew this was coming here on the Shannon Joy Show. I have been preparing you all for this for 18 months, but they have finally laid it bare. Donald Trump partnering up with Albert Bourla, the head of Pfizer, who rolled out the poison bioweapon, the mRNA shot, which debilitated and harmed millions of Americans and killed hundreds of thousands of Americans. Now a $70 billion partnership with Donald Trump, United States government, and Pfizer so that they can create their universal mRNA technology right here in the United States of America. Absolutely devastating. That was Rosa Corey. For those of you who might not have recognized her voice, that video, that speech that she gave was almost 15 years ago. Rosa Corey has passed on, but she was one of the originals to stand up and speak out about Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization, the public-private partnerships, the fascism, the infrastructure that was being built across the globe. She knew what was happening. She was a leftist. Well, she began as a leftist. She was a Democrat out of the state of California, and she began her fight at the local level. believe it was Fresno, California, or it was a suburb of California, but that's how long they have been preparing this. And isn't her voice haunting? So prescient, understanding what we are facing today. She nailed it, along with a few others, people like Patrick Wood, Technocracy, Catherine Austin Fitts. So many warriors out there who are speaking the truth, but so many Americans, particularly on the right, are so ingrained into the two-party political system, that fake system. So many conservatives and constitutionalists and Republicans believe that Donald Trump is somehow going to save them from the infrastructure he built in his first term, from the lockdowns he created in 2020, from the bioweapon that he funded through Operation Warp Speed. This is why I told you 18 months ago, you cannot elect the guy who did it to you in the first place, because we are teaching him that we are slaves. And now here we are, very predictably. And you guys see the headline today. Thank you for all of you who are with us today on the Shannon Joy Show. Trojan horse Trump, he whores himself out yet again to Pfizer with a $70 billion deal to warp speed mRNA. We're going to have Sasha Latapova with us at the bottom of the hour with some of her thoughts on this absolutely stunning betrayal. Also, Trump RX, a deal right in front of our faces, crony corporatism with Pfizer, naming rights for Pfizer for their platform for telehealth and the distribution of pharmaceuticals via the internet. Trump is engaging now. It looks like a naming deal. And if you look at some of Trump's previous deals for naming rights, he could be pulling in almost $500 million in the first year for Trump Inc. with the naming rights, which is just a complete bastardization of our supposedly free market capitalistic system. It's crony corporism. It's market manipulation. It's a rigged game. He's picking winners and losers, and it's basically cheating. But the Republican Party completely anesthetized, completely docile, flaccid, impotent, unable to do anything because, well, they're listening to Q and the Republican Party and influencers on the right and people like Sean Hannity. And all of the people paid to run cover for this administration, which is actually a Trojan horse for the leftists. He's never been on our side, not since he came down the escalator. And there was one girl who has been telling you the same story for the past 12 years, and that's me. Independent, not left, not right, not Republican, not Democrat, just white-knuckled on this roller coaster along with all of you trying to make sense of the madness and actually survive. Protect my children, protect my family, and actually fight for something, some semblance of liberty for the next 50 years for my kids. That's what we're going for. And they're going for all the marbles. You saw with that Rosa Corey video, they want everything, every piece of land, every body of water, every human body, every natural resource, everything to be tallied and corralled into a global system that they control. We have nothing, we own nothing, and we're happy, says Klaus Schwab. Well, Trump is right in on all of that. And I just can't believe people can't see it. The betrayal, it's right in our faces. It's absolutely stunning. I feel like I'm in college again. And it's, I'm trying to advise my girlfriend who is in a relationship with a deadbeat, abusive loser who lies to her, cheats on her, manipulates her on a regular basis, and she always thinks he's going to change, and she just goes back to that relationship over and over and over. And I'm like, girl, you've got to pull yourself out, right? It's like an entire portion of this country is locked in a mass formation, a cult formation around Donald Trump, who is a clear and obvious predator. He's always been a liar, a cheater, a betrayer, a predator. He laughs at you. He's going to take what he can. He will lie to your face. It doesn't even faze him. Yet so many people continue to be standard bearers for this abusive tyrant. And that's why he does this with Albert Bourla. People are like, oh, well, you know, he's trying to hide this. No, this is blatant. This is in your face. He is putting you through a humiliation ritual. It's a control tactic, a control technique. He wants you to eat it. He wants you to know that he has complete control and he could shoot you in the face on Fifth Avenue and you would still vote for him. That's the level of control these narcissistic, malignant sociopaths want to have. And so many of them are in positions of power. Now, does Trump run everything? No. We know that there are dark cabals behind every president in these Western democracies. We know that Trump is not the boss. But with the power that he does have, he will shove your face in it every single day. And that's what he did yesterday with Albert Bourla. That's what he did, announcing blatantly right in your face, pay to play, market manipulation, crony capitalism, naming rights for Trump RX in collaboration with pharma. He's mocking you. I can't believe that anyone with any semblance of dignity on the right, as a conservative or a Christian or even MAGA, would fall for this. You should be embarrassed. Outrageous. And Maha is officially dead. By the way, you know, if Bobby Kennedy Jr. does not get a pass on this just because he was standing in the background with like a horrified expression on his face, right? He has a lot of power over at HHS that he is not wielding. And so we have to make sure that we keep an eye on him as well. But no, this betrayal is absolutely stunning. There's no sugarcoating it. MAGA is dead. Maha is dead. This is in your face. The question is, when are people going to wake the F up? That's the only question I have. This is what he said yesterday. I was honored to have Albert Bourla, the CEO of Pfizer. He's done a fantastic job with COVID. He did a fantastic job with a lot of things. He's a leader, said Donald Trump. And Pfizer is right at the top. And that is, as he announces, a new collaboration with the pharmaceutical corporation that was responsible for the death and destruction of millions of Americans. I tweeted this to Donald the Betrayer yesterday. And I was happy to see David Icke retweeted it. And I believe Health Ranger Mike Adams retweeted this because I'm just over it. I tweeted this out at Trump. Your black eyes match your black heart, Donald Trump. You are a predator and are complicit in mass murder of millions with Operation Warp Speed and the COVID bioweapons, which are the COVID shots. You are no better than Joe Biden, and you both should be arrested and tried for crimes against humanity. Shame on you and shame on us, America, for being such gullible chumps and re-electing the guy who did this to us in the first place. That was a dumb move. Yet we do it over and over and over. Char Light, welcome to the live chat. Shannon, you're so right. It has been a plan for 12 years. Warp Speed was a messaging to his cohorts that we are on track once he got in again. He is who he always has been, a con man. And we knew that 12 years ago when he came down that golden escalator and announced his run for the presidency. And let me tell you, we've lost a lot of opportunities here at the Shannon Joy Show for telling the truth about Donald Trump. But I'm glad that we persevered. I'm glad that I persevered through it and continued to commit to the truth because we are being proven right time and time again. Sojourner, welcome to the live chat. So glad to see you as well. Sleeping Giant 111, great to see you on this live chat. We love the Rumble live chat. Welcome everyone. The smartest, kindest, most helpful, most brilliant live chat in all of Rumble. You guys look amazing today. The Shannon Joy Show, as you know, independent, not left, not right, just the truth, straight up, no chaser, every single day. And as I mentioned, we're just trying to hold on along with all of you and figure out what the hell is going on because they just lie to us, I mean, ad nauseum, over and over and over. We're live here on Rumble. We're live on Twitter. We're on Spreely TV, Roku TV, Apple TV, Huge welcome to the Died Suddenly platform. The Shannon Joy Show now platformed on Twitter every day via Died Suddenly, also on my Twitter account as well, Facebook, Substack, and every podcast platform you can ever imagine. The Shannon Joy Show, amazingly, this tiny little engine that could, just me and our production, people and a few other helpers, reaching upwards over 1.5 million views every single month, between 3 and 5 million impressions through our social media accounts. Absolutely amazing. And I'm so thankful for all of you who help us to achieve this. So few independent truth tellers out there today. And Jay Bhattacharya told us just 4 weeks ago in an op-ed in WAPO, Washington Post, and he said this, there was nothing wrong with Operation Warp Speed. It was a huge success. Trump should get a Nobel Prize for Operation Warp Speed. And oh, hey, by the way, there's nothing really wrong with the COVID shots either. The problem was with Biden, his administration, and Anthony Fauci not establishing trust with the people, right? So there wasn't a problem with the jab, it was a problem with you. You didn't trust the jab. And so now what they're doing is they're embarking on another Operation Warp Speed to take us off the original vaccine platforms and move us to a new universal vaccine platform using mRNA technology. Bhattacharya laid that out very clearly, and what you saw yesterday was the full culmination. There will be no reckoning. There will be no acknowledgement of the vaccine injured and dead. They will gaslight you and continue to gaslight you and laugh in your face. And they will do it over and over and over until we say no. Yes, my statements are slightly emotional, right? But you know what? We should be angry. We should be angry. They are harming our children. They are affecting fertility. They are killing people with these shots. And not only are they not removing pharmaceutical liability protection or taking the mRNA shots off the market or giving people informed consent about the shot or even acknowledging those who have been injured or devastated physically by these vaccines. They're not doing any of that. They're not even ending the emergency declaration that was used to lock down the country in the first place and create the bioweapon. No, they are tripling down on that and expanding it. They're going to Operation Warp Speed new technologies, and they're going to focus them on children and preventing cancer in children, which means they will be experimenting on children. That was another announcement in that godforsaking, horrifying, ghoulish press conference, that dumpster fire that we witnessed yesterday. They're going to expand in Operation Warp Speed research into cancer cures using mRNA. That means they will be experimenting on children, likely horrifying experiments on children, because that's what they did when they Operation Warp Speeded the original COVID vaccines. In fact, they paid mothers $1,000 per baby to inject their children with the experimental COVID shots. And they ramped that up in 50 research hospitals across the nation in the dark days of 2020. Disgusting, horrifying, ghoulish, monstrous people. There is no way to sugarcoat this. And I don't think that we should be diplomatic when acknowledging how bad these people are. The Pfizer shot alone is responsible for 470,000 excess deaths, not to mention the millions of people who have had debilitating injuries and fertility problems reported. And this was the conclusion of the MIT study that was cited by Dr. Joe Ladapo as the justification for pulling the mRNA shots in the state of Florida. Yet this administration under Trump and Bobby Kennedy Jr. are going in the opposite direction. I asked some of my listeners and my viewers on social media how they felt about this, because you should feel angry. You should feel infuriated. You should be outraged. There should be no justification. There should be no sugarcoating this. There should be no, well, wondering if he's playing 12-dimensional chess or trusting the plan. You should be raging against this, and we should be withholding our consent for the administration of Donald Trump and also for HHS, because it's only going to get worse. We have Sasha Latapova, who has joined us in the Joy Virtual Studio, who we're going to go to in just a moment. But I want to read, I have screenshotted so many of you, those of you who have had debilitating injuries, who have lost loved ones, whose children are dead because you trusted the government, you trusted the plan, you trusted Trump and Health and Human Services and got the shots. This is from Shell on Twitter, and she's been a longtime follower, and I follow her. And I'm going to read some of these throughout the program today because this is horrifying. We cannot allow them to normalize the death and destruction that they are inflicting upon us and just hope for some kind of crumb in the future that they drop, some kind of acknowledgement. They haven't acknowledged anyone who has been injured by these vaccines or the dead. These people are monsters. They're monsters, and they have blood on their hands. This is what Shell said. It's been 1,724 days since I made the biggest mistake of my life and took the Pfizer vaccine. My nightmare began. Chronic pain, disability, nothing but disappointment from my government, the Biden administration at that time. I have no trust, no faith in them. You lose your family, your friends, your home, most of all, your health. Once having a good lifestyle, the government that gave you a safe and effective vaccine, which has shown not to be, now the government wants us to live off the government, either in Section 8 housing vouchers, EBT cards, or whatever the food stamps are, etc. How much more can we take? 1,724 days of making spike, and I'm not just talking about antibodies. It's in my exosomes. Monthly infusions of IVIG up to $2,000 in prescription medications, compound pharmacy supplements along with IV treatment, which is another $3,000 a month. To be on a cancer protocol on top of all of it, with the long list of the diagnosis I already have. I was healthy, ran 3 to 6 miles, worked out, CrossFit, martial arts, Spartan races. To be disabled, that's a lot to swallow. How much more are we going to take? How much more gaslighting, torment, and torture are we going to allow this administration to inflict upon us? That is the question. Shell, we are praying for you. And I know that your plight is the same as hundreds of thousands across the United States of America. And those who have not been debilitated, who have lost loved ones, whose children are in the ground, whose loved ones are dead within days or hours of taking the Pfizer COVID vaccine. Now Pfizer being rewarded to the tune of $70 billion, and Trump cashing in with the naming rights of Trump RX. Rage against this, guys. Rage against this. Pull yourself out of the two-party political system and begin to get ready to fight back through peaceful noncompliance, civil disobedience, local organization, and refusal to comply. Get ready to withdraw your consent and say no, because they will continue to abuse us as long as we allow ourselves to be abused. It's time it ends. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we are going to be bringing Sasha Latapova. She's been with us since the very beginning. One of the clearest voices, a truth teller. Her Substack is breaking down the disgusting collaboration, the naming rights that Trump is going to cash in on with Trump RX in a deal that it appears he made with Pfizer. We're going to look at the Trump naming rights deals and how that works, and also get Sasha's opinion on what has happened. By the way, we also have the great Mary Talley Bowden. She will be joining us at 1 p.m. We're going to get her thoughts on this disaster. And also, because it's Wednesday, as you know, On Call with Dr. Mary Talley Bowden, her live show here today. She's going to be talking to Warner Mendenhall. She's going to be talking to Brooke Jackson. She is the woman who sued Pfizer for fraudulent clinical trials that she witnessed in the dark days of 2020 in the Operation Warp Speed rollout. Amazing blockbuster group of guests for Mary Talley Bowden today. That's coming up in just about a little over an hour. So we have a packed, booked show for you today. I'm going to try to get to as many of you as I can on the live chat. I do see a lot of comments, and we will certainly try to get to you guys as much as we possibly can. So we're going to go to break, but first I do want to talk about one of our amazing new sponsors. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of a company. It is called Rocket Dollar, and I've been working with Henry Yoshida for the past month. We've had 4 or 5 meetings. This company is unbelievable. It's putting investing in your own hands through a self-directed IRA. It's very similar than some of those self-directed IRAs you've seen regarding precious metals, gold and silver, but this one allows you, amazingly, I just love this, it allows you to invest in real estate, in private equity, in private investments, in international investments. It allows you to take a portion of your retirement and use your expertise, your knowledge of what's going on in your own community to take charge of your accounts. It is just an amazing company, and I cannot wait to introduce you guys to Henry Yoshida. He's going to be with us next Thursday in the Joy Virtual Studio. As things get a little bit crazy with the economy, now is the time for you. I mean, I'll never forget Catherine Austin Fitz when we hosted her here in Rochester, New York. She was talking about, 401ks and government and, retirement plans. And she said, I will never, ever, ever partner with the federal government ever again, especially for my retirement. And you don't have to. So many of the 401ks and IRA plans out there are, you basically institutionalized. Trump is the perfect person to bring in the New World Order. His base always excuses him, has excuses and defaults to you must be a Kamala supporter, and his base would normally fight this. And that's the truth. It's the perfect Trojan horse. If Biden tried what Trump is doing, everyone would be freaking out. Everyone on the right would be losing their minds. If they were deploying military into towns and villages and cities across the country, everyone on the right would be freaking out. If Biden was issuing hundreds of executive orders and emergency declarations and partnering up with Albert Bourla of Pfizer and the techno-fascists, on Wall Street, if Biden had a sit-down dinner with Mark Zuckerberg on one side and Bill Gates on the other side, they would all be losing their minds. They would be... they would be going bananas, right? The sky would be falling, Chicken Little. But because it's Trump, right, he's the perfect Trojan horse, and he always gets a pass. We've got to stop this thinking, and Sasha Latypova is one of the women out there who is very clear thinking and has been clear thinking on these topics since the very beginning, one of the original truth tellers. Due Diligence and Art is her Substack, and she recently launched a piece about the Donald Trump deal with Pfizer, the naming rights, Trump RX. If you look at some of the previous Trump deals for naming rights, which she did, and we were to gain access to the nature of the deal that they made, which we don't know yet, they could pull in almost $500 million in the first year for Trump Inc. Sasha Latypova, welcome to the Shannon Joy Show on this very, very sad and horrifying day of utter betrayal by this administration and Robert Kennedy Jr., by the way. Everyone is giving him a pass because he's in the corner like looking miserable. But I'm like, why don't you do something, Bobby? Instead of looking, standing there looking like you have a sour face. Welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. How are you doing, Sasha?
Hi, Shannon. Thank you for inviting me. I'm doing great.
Absolutely. Despite everything.
Yeah.
What do you make of this? Let's get your thoughts first on this unholy alliance between Donald Trump, Bobby Kennedy Jr., Macri, who else was up there with him? A few others. Aligning with Pfizer. Burla. What do you make of it?
Well, so yes, exactly. It is a kind of a unholy matrimony that happened because a name change occurred. So here we have about a year ago, I noticed that, and I actually mentioned in one of my articles that about a year ago, in April, May of 24, it was reported that Pfizer was planning to launch Pfizer for All. So they took out a trademark, Pfizer for All, and they were planning to launch a website for sort of retail pharmacy, direct to consumer, with capability of searching drugs and ordering and getting discounts and directly from Pfizer. And so, so that was reported. And now we have Pfizer entering into this unholy matrimony with Trump and changes the name. So Albert Bourla married Donald Trump and took his name. So here we go. Instead of Pfizer for All,
ugly baby. Horrifyingly ugly baby.
It's going to be very genetically modified, very ugly baby. So and now we have so now it's instead of Pfizer for All, it's Trump RX all of a sudden, and this is being paraded as it's just a government basically forcing Pfizer to give discounts to Medicaid. This is being advertised as a good thing for consumers. It's not, because Medicaid patients don't pay for their drugs. And then it's also part of the deal where Pfizer is pledging to invest $70 billion into the U.S. Economy, presumably, which means that they will build numerous manufacturing facilities around different states and thus control those states for the pharma military complex. But also, they are now being forced to license Trump's name, obviously. And that part of the deal is non-government. So we can't even FOIA it because these are two private corporations dealing between themselves. So it's Trump Organization and Pfizer, and this is a private deal that they entered. So I don't have access to that deal, but I do have access to, maybe Pfizer will have to report it as material in their SEC filings, so that remains to be seen in the future. But what I can tell from previous Pfizer arrangements like this, and he licensed his name to numerous locations, to various hotels in the U.S., in Canada, in other locations, in Turkey. He licensed his name to Trump Towers, different hotels, different facilities, casinos, golf courses. There is Trump vodka, there are Trump steaks, there are various merchandising items that they're selling continuously, Trump coins, all that. So if something is named Trump and sold commercially, it means the name is licensed. And there's no possibility in the universe where this Trump RX deal doesn't have that licensing, because if they don't, then all those other people that are paying Trump Organization for licensing his name can contest and nullify their deals.
Right.
That's how it works.
Absolutely. And tell us about this lucrative deal, Trump cashing in now. I mean, this is such a bastardization of free market capitalism. I mean, this is the definition. I mean, it's right in our faces: crony capitalism, fascism, socialism, the merging of the state and corporate entities. And they're not even trying to hide it. I mean, they're just blatantly doing it right in front of our faces. How lucrative could this deal be for the Trump administration, or not the Trump administration, for the Trump family, the Trump name, the Trump corporation?
Trump family. Yeah. So based on the previous deals, it looks like their typical terms are something like 3 to 5% of the wholesale revenue. So they're skimming off the top, and and then also various other terms such as upfront fees for signing, which are anywhere from 5 million to 20 million. So the 3 to 5% royalty, and then there are different terms like how long this lasts, usually 10 years, and various controls that Trump Organization can then enforce onto the brand, onto whoever is running this commercial part of it. So now they're further controlling Pfizer, even further merging with Pfizer through this method, right? to control the branding of this website.
Unbelievable. And the headline, and you can find all of this information on Sasha Latypova's Substack. It is Due Diligent Art. And we are looking at anywhere between 75 million and 500 million in royalties per year, which is, and this is what you had to say in the Substack. Overall, I love this. Well, let's start here. So wouldn't Trump then, as president of the United States of America, with great power, wielding authority over all of the various branches, all of the various bureaucracies, the ability to write executive orders, declare emergencies, push the funding bills and so forth, lean on legislators to carve out funding for this corporation or that corporation? Aren't there just about a million ways that Donald Trump can rig the game? Like, he's now invested in a corporation, he's branded with Pfizer that is going to distribute pharmaceutical products to people across the country. Doesn't that present, I know it's kind of a dumb question, it seems so obvious, but doesn't that present a conflict of interests, Sasha Latypova?
Yeah, it's a huge fault. It's not just a conflict of interest. It's plainly illegal. Actually, Constitution forbids this. There's a moments clause in the Constitution, as far as I remember, that explicitly forbids this behavior. He can't, he has enormous power as the president of the United States, and to shake down corporations like this. And so that those legal provisions exist to prevent this from happening. And now we see it blatantly in our faces, in broad daylight. They just say, screw the Constitution, we're just going to do whatever and enrich ourselves. And this behavior is not new to me. This is exactly how all those Soviet oligarchs, Communist Party oligarchs, and now Russia oligarchs, Ukraine oligarchs, and political figures, that's exactly how they behave. So I see it as, I've seen this before numerous times. So it's very obvious to me what's going on. And I just try to wake as many people up as possible to look what's happening here. We have, the definition of fascism is merger of the state and the large corporate and military complex, and them, profiteering of each other's and using the power of the state to provide themselves full liability immunity. And that's exactly what's going on here. So we have to be really vocal and call this BS out. And yes, I agree with you. Maha is completely destroyed by this, just by even standing behind him. No matter what expression was on your face, you guys were standing behind him on this, while they were like prancing around and hugging and kissing each other with Albert Bourla. And so is MAGA. It's completely, the trust is destroyed, and everyone should be calling them on this very vocally.
Yeah, I think this should be happening very quickly.
If somebody in the commercial sector is willing to challenge this, they should try to challenge this. Why? And what is the reason to call it Trump RX in the first place? I don't understand the branding of this.
I think it's a conditioning exercise and part of the humiliation ritual. I think it is a flex. It's saying, this is the way things are going to be moving forward. You have no power. Yeah, we're going to cheat. We're going to put our thumb on the scale. We're going to rig the game. We're going to screw you to your face, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's what I see from Trump, from a personality standpoint, and the way that he has done deals for the entirety of his career, the way that he has screwed his partners, the way that he has humiliated his business partners, people he has dealt with over the years. That's just the way he operates, as a malignant, narcissistic sociopath, in my opinion.
Right.
And so,
he is establishing a cult of personality, which is also a hallmark of all the totalitarian societies. And I grew up. My home address was Lenin Street. Okay, and there were Lenin streets in every town, village, any human settlement in the throughout the Soviet Union had a Lenin street, and a bunch of buildings called Lenin, and a bunch of schools called Lenin, and a bunch of everything. And so, yeah, that's part of the humiliation of the slaves. You know, everything is called with your cult personality leader name, and this is what he's doing also.
Unbelievable. I have a question here from the live chat I have a couple questions that I would like to pose. Diog99, thank you for being with us on the live chat. Sasha, what are the elites likely planning with the universal mRNA shot? How is this related to digital ID and AI? And that's a great question, Sasha.
So regarding the mRNA, AI, I mean, all of that. So first of all, the mRNA shots are just garbage. They can't produce anything. It's just chemical garbage. You know, before they were more combinations of, you know, cells and rotting matter and metals, and it still is the case. But maybe chemicals and metals are now higher in the concentration of these concoctions, but they are concoctions and they are not regulated at all. So anything can be in them. I've written numerous articles showing that nobody can make mRNA to specification. They're not even close, and nobody is trying because legally they don't have to. And so any claims that they make in their patents saying that mRNA is going to do XYZ, that's baloney. mRNA cannot do XYZ. It can only injure and kill people in a variety of ways. And also, many people have written about there are dozens and dozens of mechanisms by which it kills and injures and causes cancer and thousands of different conditions. So it's just should be treated as poison, just poison, unstable poison, and everybody stay away from it. Now, as far as the digital ID and passwords, yeah, we absolutely have to resist those. So we have to reject that, because if you accept a digital ID, you might as well put a shock collar on yourself. You're done. If they have the digital ID and all your data, then they will target you and turn on and off your money and control you, geofence you. So we have to resist the digital ID. The number one priority right now.
The only thing that I can hope is that this will help more people to wake up and realize that Trump is a Trojan horse and that the calls are coming from inside the house. These people are not going to save us. They're not going to fix anything. We can only reject and resist and refuse to comply with the initiatives that they're putting out and hopefully survive.